In this video I want to show you how to clean antique glass and stoneware. Aaron and I have been very lucky in the last 3 trips underwater to find all these amazing bottles, but unfortunately that means we're going to have to clean them up and give them a good scrub. So we're going to show you some of the tips and tricks we use to clean antique stoneware and antique glass. Let's have a look at some of the tools you'll need to clean your glass and ceramics. To start with, some scouring pads on the left, usually used to remove paint. We have 2 long bottle brushes, some Automotive steel picks, a steel brush, a brass brush, a wooden chopstick, some brass brushes, and of course the famous barkeeper's friend, very good for the ceramics, you'll see that later. For the inside of glass bottles we like to use copper granules. We apply those with a funnel, and then when we get rid of them we catch them with a sieve. The most importantly, we need a big tub of clean water. For this demonstration I'm going to select a rusty coffee essence bottle, a cod bottle, a German ceramic spa water bottle, and a couple of others. Bottle number 1, we've got this coffee essence which has some pretty rusty stains on it. To start with, I'm going to put some barkeeper's friend on a scouring pad, and I'm going to use that in the kind of rusty stains because the barkeeper's friend, being slightly acidic, will start to eat away at the rusty stains as I manually scrub them off. A quick warning about various coloured glasses. This colour is generally known as aqua glass, which is due to iron impurities in the silica sand when the bottle's being made. It's one of the hardest types of vintage sort of Victorian glass you'll find, and so you don't need to worry about scratching the glass too badly. In fact, I've found it is probably as hard as most steels, so steel will struggle to scratch it. However, when you move into the territory of coloured glasses, such as your ambers, reds, greens, and purples and amethysts, the glass tends to be a little bit softer, so you want to make sure you use a pretty soft and worn out scouring pad and stay away from steel brushes. Luckily this aqua glass is pretty bomb proof, so I've gone in with the steel brush to help remove some of the tougher rust stains on the embossed areas of the bottle. If your glass is black, green or any other colour, you may wish to use a brass brush instead of a steel brush for these sorts of purposes. Between the scouring pad and the steel brush I've managed to clean the outside of the bottle, but now let's use the copper granules to clean the inside because the bottle brush will not fit. The reason we've chosen copper granules is because copper is a softer material than glass, so it can clean it without scratching it. You want to select copper granules that are around 1.5mm to 3mm, and you want to fill your glass bottle about 1/3 of the way full with copper granules. Over the top of that you're going to apply a little bit of water just so the water level is sitting maybe about 1 centimetre above the copper. Put your hand over the top of the bottle and then you're going to shake like a crazy person, and you get a good little workout while you're doing this. It's a particularly stubborn part of the dirt. You want to place that on the bottom of the bottle so all the copper weighs down and sits on that, and then just focus on that area. Don't be scared of doing it for over 5 minutes. Every 20 or 30 shakes or so, inspect the inside of the bottle to see if you've removed all the stains. If you have, empty the copper out, give it a rinse, and admire your lovely handiwork. The next bottle I've chosen to clean is an iconic cod bottle from Perth, and it's got some really nasty mineral stains inside it, and it's going to be a bit of a challenge, so let's see if we can clean it up. We'll start off with the steel brush into all the crevices, nooks and crannies in the cod bottle, and see if we can get the outside of the cod looking clean so we can see exactly what stains are left on the inside and how best to tackle them. The first tool I've selected to clean the inside of the cod bottle is this long bottle brush, and it just about fits inside the mouth of the cod, and then I can move the marble out of the way, push it past the pinch, and you're into the body. Fill the bottle with water, and I've put a very slight bend at the end of the bottle brush just so I can reach the walls and other bits of the cod bottle. I'm going to vigorously move the brush up and down and push it into all the corners and see if I can budge some of those rusty mineral stains. So the rusty stains are very baked on and the bottle brush just isn't managing to shift them. So I'm going to show you a little hack using barkeeper's friend. Because it's slightly acidic, you could probably also use vinegar for this type of thing. Mix up a solution of barkeeper's friend, maybe a couple of teaspoons, into some warm water, mix it in the cod bowl and leave it in a hot place for a few days. This one I left for maybe a month by accident because I was cleaning some other stuff, and look how it's completely dissolved all of the rusty stains in the bottle. Now all I have to do is maybe go in again with the bottle brush, rinse it out, and you should have a nice clean cod bottle. So that little soak in the water and Barkeeper's Friend solution has pulled all of those rusty stains out of the cod bottle, and they've sort of diluted into the water solution, and hopefully even bits like this are going to be a lot looser and easier to clean. So let's see if we can get those out nice and easily. For this little stain in the lip, I'll try the nylon brush again. If that fails, let's move on to something a bit harder, like a steel pick. The little metal picks come in handy. See, the shape of this is quite well suited to getting into cracks and crevices, like little bits under the neck. Sometimes these kind of rust stains, I mean, there's no other way apart from kind of mechanical fiddling and abrasion and poking around to actually get rid of them. After a good bit of picking, I'm going to pick up the brass brush and use that to get rid of the rest of the stains in the lip. These are readily available on the interwebs, and it is softer than glass, so you don't have to worry about scratching the glass with these. Another option for these kind of tricky bits, sometimes I like to use, is to get an old chopstick like this and wrap a piece of the abrasive pad around it like that, stick it in, and then you can manoeuvre that around. This is quite good for getting into little kind of recesses. So I'll just rinse out any of the stained water, give it a good shake up to get any of the Barkeeper's Friend powder out the bottom, and then we'll see if it is clean. And there we have the finished, clean, perfect John Wright & Co. cod bottle. Cleaned up really nicely. And a good long soak with the Barkeeper's Friend did most of the hard work there. A little bit of tools and scrubbing needed, but pretty chuffed with that. Nice one for the shelf. Lovely, clean bottle. Hardly any scratches on it as well, fantastic. So when it comes to antique stoneware and ceramics, I've got a brilliant hack for you. This one obviously has been hanging around in the bottom of a Scottish loch for over 100 years, and it's covered in mineral stains and crusty rust. And we need to get some of that off before I can show you its mummification in Barkeeper's Friend. So we're just going to use a pretty rough and fresh scouring pad to try and remove the bulk of the rust. And we might need to use some steel picks and wee tools to crack off any of the crust. So now we've got most of the stains and crust off of our ancient stoneware, I'm going to show you my favourite cleaning hack. Now this uses Barkeeper's Friend powder, and we're going to make a slurry with a little bit of water and powder and rub it into the exterior of the stoneware bottle. This is then going to be wrapped in paper towels before being wrapped in cling film, and then we can leave it in a warm place for perhaps 2 or 3 days. If it's more stained, leave it a bit longer. If it's not too bad, maybe a day will do. The heat will help to activate the acid, and the paper towels are going to absorb any of the stains in the stoneware. If it's not quite complete after a day or two, repeat the process and you will be absolutely amazed. I'll show you a couple of ginger beers we've done recently as well. I forgot to mention the ceramics or stoneware must be in a slightly moist environment, so it's a good idea to dampen the paper towels before you apply them. And feel free to shake a bit of Barkeeper's Friend powder on the damp towels before you wrap them over the bottle. Okay, the German spa water has had a 2-day mummification in some kitchen towel and cling film, and it's all been soaked in the Barkeeper's Friend. And let's reveal it and see how it's looking. You can see already it's starting to work. All the stains and stuff have been absorbed into the kitchen towel. So let's unravel it. Okay, take the kitchen towel off. Wow. Whoa. That worked pretty good, didn't it? Using this method you can hope to restore the stoneware back to its original state when it just came out the kiln. Some of the most unreal results we've had with this technique have been on our stoneware ginger beers. A few of them we've found recently, this Pitlochry and this Perth one, and here they are stewing away in their mummification, and this is them 2 days later, absolutely factory fresh and looking amazing. Here's another one from Perth, John Campbell, and just coming out of its paper towels. Can't believe how good the stoneware looks, and after a quick soak in water to neutralise any acid, here they are ready to display on the shelf. Here's another lovely sort of miniature sized Schweppes torpedo bottle from the dive, and as you can notice, a little bit hard to clean at the moment because it still has its original cork in. So in order to get the cork out, we're going to use one of the picks again. Maybe use that one we were using with the kind of multiple angles on it. Can you see? We'll put that up inside the neck, get behind the cork, and we'll try and ease it out. Here it comes. And let's try and not destroy it, because it might be fun to put this cork back in once it's clean as a little memento. And there we are. So we're focusing on it. There we go. A few 100 years old. Piece of cork, probably from Portugal. Brilliant. Put that to one side and we can clean inside of the torpedo, which is full of sludge. Yeah. I think this will be a very easy one. It's just got some kind of funky mould there, which is still alive by the looks of things. A little bit of a chippy crack at the bottom there, but we'll ignore that. Let's just fill it with some water. Still a bit of amorphous jelly stuck in the end there. Use a little pick into gross. Anyway, that was an easy one to clean. Pretty good. Just give it a little brush inside. Well, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Ready to display? Lovely.